Hill, this tweet from Charlie Kirk really sums up this whole notion: if you go woke, you may very well go broke. You've got, here we go, you've got Disney's chief diversity officer resigning. Disney's first ever film featuring a non-binary character, Elemental, had the company's lowest opening weekend revenue in its history. Target stock is down around 15 billion. Starbucks is toning down its Pride display. We know that trouble Bud Light have got themselves into. Do you think lefty CEOs and marketing departments are feeling pressure now from the half of the population that doesn't share their worldview?
Yeah, I think what you saw, Rita, was a building frustration with these corporations that feel it's their place to preach at their customers instead of just serving them with the products and the services that they're supposed to be doing. And the Budweiser, Bill and Mulvaney controversy really blew open that dam. And now company after company is feeling the force of a consumer base that's just sick of it. They're tired of being preached at. They're tired of being scolded by people who take their money and supposedly serve their interests. And so I think right now, any C-suite in America that is not focused on just serving consumers is cruising for a bruising.
And we've seen Disney stock price collapsing to 2014 levels. They're down dramatically in recent years, but they keep digging their heels in on this woke push. They really seem to be committed to this. It seems to be a ideological imperative as opposed to a commercial one. What's going to correct this? Because if they're willing to self-harm, if they're willing to see their share price plummet, if they're willing to put out movies that nobody wants to watch, how can consumers have any power if those in charge are ignoring the backlash?
Well, this touches on another fight that our organization, Consumers Research, has been working on for the last 24 months. You have in America, and probably in Australia as well, a huge number of publicly traded companies whose majority of their shares are held by large asset managers like BlackRock, who push these companies, whose CEO has bragged about pushing these companies into a woke direction. And to some extent, they feel that they are insulated from the wrath of their consumers, even as they lose hundreds of millions of dollars over the last 8 or 9 films that have been box office bombs. They feel they're insulated because you have people like Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, with their back. But just yesterday, that seems to be changing. Larry Fink himself said that he was ashamed to become the face of the ESG movement. They may be, reconfiguring the way they're going to act at BlackRock. So the days of these corporations being shielded by woke Wall Street may be coming to an end.
Well, you're right. He did say that, Larry Fink, the BlackRock CEO, he's sought to distance himself, and he said the whole ESG movement has been politically weaponized. But he said also, I'm not going to use the word ESG because it's been misused by the far left and the far right. Is this really backtracking, or is he just rebranding here? Will we see the same poisonous ESG agenda just under a new term?
I don't doubt for one second that BlackRock and Larry Fink are regrouping and trying to figure out how they can push the same far left progressive agenda with other people's money that they have been previous to the heat that us and others have been bringing to them. What I do think is important is the very fact that they're having to acknowledge it and apologize and even rebrand is a significant signal that consumers are having an impact. We've seen a huge groundswell here in the United States of states whose pension money is managed by BlackRock pushing back on that. They've had to combat that. Their stock has been downgraded because of that activity. So while I don't for one second think that this is a sincere shift for Larry Fink or that he regrets what he's done, it is costing him, and he is having to pivot. They are hiring a new communications director from Starbucks and Microsoft. And so I think what this indicates is that consumers should feel empowered. They are making a difference, and they should keep the push on because it will eventually have an impact.